Thanks for having me.
All right, well, still ahead, rapper Kanye West starting a social media firestorm after telling the world he loves the way Candace Owens thinks. This is what he was talking about. Watch.
I don't know why people like being oppressed. 400 years of slavery, Jim Crow, which, by the way, none of you guys lived through. Your grandparents did, and it's embarrassing that you utilize their history.
She is joining us on the couch live. There she is, coming up. Thanks. All right, well, rap superstar Kanye West setting off a social media firestorm after he praised conservative activist Candace Owens. In a tweet, West told his followers that he, quote, loves the way Candace Owens thinks.
Well, just hours before that, Candace took on Black Lives Matter protesters at an event at UCLA. Watch this.
What is happening right now in the black community, you're going to hear it in this room first. There's an ideological civil war happening. Black people that are focused on their past and shouting about slavery, and black people that are focused on their futures, okay? I can guarantee you what you're seeing happening is victim mentality versus victor mentality. Victim mentality is not cool. I don't know why people like being oppressed. It's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. I love oppression. We're oppressed. 400 years of slavery, Jim Crow, which, by the way, none of you guys lived through. Your grandparents did, and it's embarrassing that you utilize their history. You're not living through anything right now. You're overly privileged Americans.
Well, here she is, very powerful. From Turning Point USA, Candace Owens. Good morning.
Good morning.
Can't imagine what the last 24 hours or so has been like.
Yeah.
Candace, I didn't realize you've been called every name in the book after that Kanye West tweet.
Yeah, in about 10 seconds, I became a KKK member, anti-LGBT, I mean, you name it, just because I think differently, and I refuse to accept this narrative that I'm a victim. I'm not a victim.
So first, take us to the event at UCLA. You were there with Turning Point to talk to students. Some Black Lives Matter folks came in and tried to shout you down. And rather than, I mean, you took them on.
Correct. We told them that they were welcome to get in line and ask any questions, but they refused to do that. They wanted to just heckle. We were there to talk about capitalism and free markets, not really that controversial. And they were up and they were screaming, F the police, as we had police sitting in the back. So I took them on because I believe that their ideas are poisonous. I also believe that they're intellectually dishonest or intellectually lazy, depending on what you want to take a pick at. Because the truth is, the numbers are in, okay? Police brutality is not an issue that is facing the black community whatsoever.
All right, well, here are just an example of some of the tweets you have received since that event took place. This one says, aside from being an insane alt-right race pimp, Candace Owens thinks Donald Trump is literally the Messiah, not you, Kanye West, so you might want to consider. They're mad that Kanye called you out on Twitter saying that he likes the way that you think. That's all he said, by the way. That was the only thing that was written in the tweet. I like the way Candace Owens thinks. What does that say, bigger picture, about society today, that you can go out there and you can say things that they might disagree with, and this is the backlash, this is the reaction?
Well, I think it's pretty typical of the left. The truth is that the left wants to strap black people to this idea that they are victims. That's what it comes down to. They do not want black people focused on their futures. They want black people focused on their past. They like black people to be government dependent. They don't like to see black people that are free thinkers and are independent. And I think that's what Kanye West and myself represent to the black community, and that makes them very nervous.
And so Democrats might be nervous about this kind of talk. You were a Democrat. Tell us what you mean when you say, don't be a victim, be a victor.
There is no value in being a victim. There is no value in being oppressed. There is only value in looking forward toward the future, and that is what I preach and what I practice every single day, and what I'm trying to wake up the black community to understand. For too long, we have been used by pawns, and Black Lives Matter is an example of that. They are pawns to the Democratic Party that go out and ruin their lives for something that they don't even understand, and which is fundamentally false.
Well, you were attacked, but so was Kanye West. This is Bakari Sellers from CNN chiming in, saying, bruh, this is so disturbing. This says more about you than her. For those that don't know Candace Owens, she thinks Donald Trump is a savior. So you're apparently a race pimp who thinks Donald Trump is a savior and evil for this country.
Yeah, exactly. No, I've said publicly that I believe that Donald Trump saved the West. They are now trying to make that a biblical, trying to misconstrue that into something biblical. So yeah, it's nastiness, but I mean, look, it's CNN. I don't think anybody really takes them seriously anymore.
Has Kanye West kept that tweet up? Because there's been he has received so many attacks, so much backlash. Is it still sitting there?
It's still sitting there, and I'm not surprised. Kanye West is not really one to fold to controversy.
Well, he said in a tweet after yours, I support free thinkers. And I think that's his idea here. You spoke freely, something that maybe wasn't supposed to be said in that community for a long time. And that's dangerous to people.
Correct. I mean, if you look at things historically, Kanye West has really represented the battering ram against political correctness. Long before Donald Trump came down the escalator, Kanye West was public enemy #1 for simply trying to tell the truth to people about things that were going on. So I'm unsurprised that, he supports me and my ideas and me just thinking freely.
In terms of where you take this forward, what would you like to say to Kanye West?
I would just like to thank him. It was a moment that I will never forget. I was extremely emotional, and it was an affirmation that I needed to go forward. So just thank you, Kanye West.
Yeah. You shouldn't be bullied and threatened for having different views. Candace, great to have you on the show this morning.
Thank you so much
for having me.
All right. Well, President Trump suggests the appointment of special counsel Mueller was illegal. What does the law say? We're going to ask Ken Starr, the independent counsel who investigated Bill Clinton. Can't wait to hear what he says.
And Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin may soon be heading to China. Maria Bartiromo says it's a good sign for the future, and she's coming up next.
Take this, haters.